until around 10 p.m.
Right.
That will be with you with real-time results when you see the return, and we will be with you when the result unveiled. So we'll be together throughout the day.
So basically, do stay with us, but with all of the updates related to the Thai general elections, this is definitely a big day for Thailand because this will actually determine which direction the country will be going to as well.
If you talk to a lot of media people, or if you read a lot of news about election today, they will say it's the clash between two camps, the liberal camp and conservative camp. But if you talk to analysts, they will say it's actually between the fear of change and the hope to change. It's quite clear-cut, especially when you look at their advertisement or their campaigning, whether you want change or you don't want anything change. So this year has been characterized as the battle between fear and hope. The one hand, many people are dreading change, convinced it will bring dire consequences for the country. On the other, people are desperate for change, equally certain that it will lead to a better future for the nation. Many feel that Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha and his government brought 9 years of peace after a long period of political conflict and turmoil. They point to improvements in public infrastructure, success in overcoming COVID-19, and the return of foreign tourists. Millions of welfare card holders have benefited from monthly government aid. Many will now be anxious that political change could result in them losing their benefits. However, a large section of populists is deeply unhappy with the current administration and the way it is ruling the country. They want reform of the military and the monarchy as well as other national institutions. They say Thailand's development has been hampered too long by an outdated and authoritarian leadership. These people are hoping for a new government that will bring the change they want.
Meanwhile, a political scientist from Burapha University, Dr. Olan Thinbangteo, said that the outcome of today's vote will indicate what Thai society in general wants. He too divides the electorate into two main groups, those who will vote out of fear of change and those who will vote in hope of change. A win for conservative parties would signal that most Thais are still not ready for change and are happy to stick with the country's existing social, economic, and political order. If the result goes the other way, it would show that most Thais are fed up with the existing structures and believe that it's time for something different.
Today's election is also a fight between two power camps, the old and the new. The conservative camp is represented by Prime Minister Prayut, United Thai Nation Party, and the ruling party Palang Pracharat. The liberal camp is led by Pheu Thai and Move Forward, core opposition parties in the recently dissolved House of Representatives. Move Forward and Pheu Thai have vowed big changes for Thailand if they manage to form the next government, although it remains unclear whether they would work together after the election. Campaigning by the rival camps in the final week before the election has focused on a simple choice for voters: continuity or change. Conservative parties have sought to inspire fear of change, while liberals have held it up as Thailand's only hope.
Thais have already shown signs that they are keen to exercise their democratic rights. Over 2.28 million people registered for advance voting last Sunday, and as many as 91% of them turned out to cast their ballots. However, the analyst expects another large turnout today. However, the country may still face a long delay post-election before a new government and a prime minister can take up their posts. This process would involve a lot of negotiation and maneuvering with the law. The Election Commission is expected to announce the unverified results at about 10 p.m. today, but it will take several more days, if not weeks, before the agency published the official results.
Dr. Olan expected a long process and perhaps some chaos, he said, before a coalition can gather the minimum number of member parliaments needed to form a government. He said it may take at least 2 months before a new government can be formed, pointing to July as the likely date. Candidates and parties are almost certain to protest election results with lawsuits and lodge petitions over the qualifications of certain winners. The Election Commission will likely respond by disqualifying some winners and refusing to endorse some election wins. It will organize revotes in affected constituencies.
By law, the official results in at least 95% of Thailand's 400 constituencies must be announced no later than 60 days after election day. At least 95% of the 500 elected MPs, 400 constituency plus 100 partyless MPs are required to convene the first session of the House of Representatives after a general election. That minimum number is required before the House can convene a joint meeting with the Senate to vote on the next prime minister. A transitional clause in the 2017 Constitution permits the 250 senators to vote with MPs to select a prime minister until May 2024, so that is next year. A prime minister candidate requires majority support from both houses, which is 376 votes, to be elected as Thailand's next prime minister. As such, a simple majority in the lower house may be insufficient to guarantee a PM seat. Without support from senators, a new coalition government will find it difficult to secure the prime ministerial post for its candidate. Appointed by the previous junta administration, the Senate is expected to vote for a conservative candidate. And if we have a look at the voter turnout in previous years, the previous one was in 2019. The voter turnout was about 74.69%. The total vote for that particular year was about 38 million, while the registration was 51 million. But you can see that the voter turnout has somewhat increased compared to previous years. So we can expect that the voter turnout for this general election might be higher, but this all depends on the people's power as well.
And you can actually see the dip in the turnout in 2014.
Yeah.
43 million people eligible for votes, but only 20 million show up. And but this year, a lot of analysts and also foreign media expect that it's going to be the record turnout. But we're going to get to see. And they said that, like Nat said before, they said that because they look at the advanced ballot, the 91% of people that register for advanced ballot show up. And that is a big number.
And that also includes those who voted outside of Thailand as well. And many people took this opportunity to cast their ballots because that is a significant point where it can determine the future of Thai politics and also the country as a whole.
And if you have questions about the senator's standpoints, at 5 p.m. when the poll closed, we actually get Senator Kitti Wasin will be on the phone with us and to talk to us about senator's standpoint. He already said to me personally that he cannot say for everyone because they don't have political camp like in parliament. But he can say that there's a lot of people agree to do in what way. Like they'd have to look at the poll result and then they decide such and such. But it's probably better to hear it from himself.
But when we talk about the power of the Senate in terms of picking a prime minister, it has been widely criticized before because people felt that most of the senators were handpicked by the junta administration. So they don't seem to believe that the senators would actually choose anyone from the liberal camp. They're most likely to choose someone from a conservative camp or just someone who they are familiar with.
That's why it's also interesting to see their reaction today.
Exactly.
And talking about election today, we have seen prime ministerial candidate wake up early and go to the voting booth, and then a lot of them will go to the headquarters of their political party at the end of the day to watch the result. So since 8 a.m. today, we see the report of Sethar Thavisin, one of the Pheu Thai's prime ministerial candidates, cast his vote in Bangkok's Klong Toei constituency. And then we saw Prawit Wongsuwan, Palang Pracharat prime ministerial candidate at around the same time, cast his vote in Bangkok's Wang Thonglan constituency without giving interviews to reporters. I would say
they did later on.
Yeah, he just asked people to come out to vote. So giving interview today will be a bit difficult. I mean, given the habits in the past several months, they were campaigning on that political parties and such and ask people to vote for themselves. But today they cannot say anything like that. Otherwise, it will violate the election law, right? So whatever they say today have to be quite in the middle. And then at 9:50, Pitha Limjaroenrat cast his vote in Sukhumvit Soin 39. He told the media that he hopes the entire country will respect the election results and the will of the people. Also, we see Prayut Chan-o-cha, the current Prime Minister, incumbent Prime Minister, also cast his vote this morning, showing up, looking very serious to vote. I wonder if he decide to vote for anything else. No.
Well, we cannot reveal who they actually voted for. But it is quite common to see prime ministerial candidates coming out to cast their ballots because it is part of their election rights. So we have seen that the prime ministerial candidates have also came out to cast their ballots all the way like in the morning. So after that, like you said, they will move to their party's headquarters to wait for the actual results. And we also have a few interviews, like candid interviews from some of them as well. So
let's hear from Prayut Chan-o-cha, the Prime Minister.
ในการเลือกตั้งได้กรุณามาร่วมการเลือกตั้งนะครับตามวิถีทางของประชาธิปไตยของเรานะครับก็เชิญชวนทุกคนทุกรุ่นทุกวัยนะครับที่มีสิทธิเลือกตั้งและอยู่ในเกณฑ์ที่ยังเลือกตั้งเราอยู่ไปมาทุกคนนะครับขอให้มีการเลือกตั้งให้มากที่สุดแล้วกันนะเป็นเสียงของประชาชนทั้งประเทศนะครับขอบคุณครับ
So he was saying that everyone should come out and cast their ballots because today is election day. So it is very important for all eligible voters to exercise their rights.
And at 10:30, Patong Shinawat also show up at the Ramintra area to cast vote with her family, with her mom and her sister. And of course, she wearing red, and she also talked to the media as well.
I woke up in a very good mood, so I hope today is going to be a good day. Yes. Okay.
How confident are you in this election?
Still 100% confident.
How much more significant is this vote for you this time?
I think today is going to be a good day. I'm not going to say anything much because I'm afraid it's going to against the law or anything. So just to stay on the safe side. I have a very positive energy today, so it's going to be a good thing.
Can you describe your emotions then?
Today, I'm in a very good mood and I'm very happy. I woke up, I just breastfeeding my baby, and everything was great. And right now is great as well, even though the weather is quite hot, but everybody's here and thank you for that. So yeah.
Okay, the key word is that today is going to be a good day and she's in a good mood because it's election day.
Yes, like the Prime Minister Prayut also, his keyword is just come out and vote. And for her, today is a good day and she cannot say anything much because she's afraid she might violate the election law.
Right, so we can see that many people could not say much. But let's have a listen to Pitha this time, what he has to say about today.
Country to vote for you today.
Well, it's their rights. Hopefully that they come out and show the power of the people. I mean, today there's some legal restrictions, and I probably cannot say much today because of the legal restrictions, but I'm very happy that we have gone through the journey and then the people get to say what they want to say.
Why do you think you're resonating with young voters today?
I can't answer that at the time for the time being. But. Hopefully the entire country will respect the result and the will of the people. Like I said, today there's some legal restrictions of what I can say and what I cannot say. So hopefully that it will show out at the entire nation show up and show what they look for in the future.
How confident are you today? How confident are you today?
I'm personally confident. I'm happy to be
Of course,
using
everyone
my
gonna say
rights
they're
as a
confident,
citizen.
right?
Yeah, and like we said, is that there are restrictions in terms of saying things.
Yeah, and they cannot say they're not confident because they have to. It's the election day,
And that's the only way to gain confidence from their
Right.
supporters too.
just to say that they are confident.
Yeah.
I also believe that we have some soundbite from Prawit Wongsuwon as well.
เชิญชวนประชาชนมาใช้สิทธิ์เลยค่ะ
ก็วันนี้ต้องถือว่าเป็นวันสำคัญนะครับ ที่เราจะมีการเลือกตั้งกันของประเทศไทย เพราะฉะนั้นก็ขอฝากประชาชนทุกคนนะครับ ช่วยออกมาเลือกตั้งเพื่อการเปลี่ยนแปลงของประเทศ ที่จะมีต่อไปในอนาคตก็ฝากความหวังทุกคนด้วยนะครับ ช่วยออกมาเลือกตั้งด้วยครับ
Okay, so what he just said is to get everyone to cast their ballots because that would be the way to make changes in the country. So that is pretty much along the same lines with all of the other prime ministerial candidates. And we also have another one, Sethar Thavisin, who also came out to cast his ballot today. He also has something to say about the elections as well.
4 ปีเรามีสิทธิ์มาเลือกตั้งอีกคนหนึ่งนะครับ ก็อยากจะเชิญชวนให้ทุกคนออกมาใช้สิทธิ์ใช้เสียงอย่างเต็มที่นะครับ
ก่อนออกจากบ้านได้ถือเลิกยามอะไรบ้าง
ไม่มีครับไม่มีเลิกยามเลยครับนัดกับพี่น้องสื่อมวลชนว่าจะมา 8 โมงก็นาฬิกาปลุก 7 โมงครึ่งอาบน้ำแล้วก็แต่งตัวแล้วเดินออกมาเลยครับ
มาก่อนเวลา
นิดหนึ่งครับ
แล้วหลังจากนี้มีโปรแกรมยังไงต่อครับหลังจากใช้สิทธิ์เลือกตั้งแล้วจะไปที่ไหนต่อไปลุ้นผลคะแนนที่ไหนยังไงต่อหรือว่า
เดี๋ยวเสร็จแล้วกลับบ้านทานอาหารเช้า แล้วก็ไปวัดไปถวายพระให้ที่วัดนะครับ แล้วก็น่าจะไปทานข้าวกับเพื่อนๆนิดหน่อยนะครับแล้วก็บ่าย 2 โมง
So
นะ
basically, the media asked whether he looked at any auspicious time to be certain minutes of certain hours to come out and vote. He's like, no, I didn't look at any specific time. I woke up at 7:30 and I showered and I just came out here and even a little earlier. And after this, he will go to a temple to make some merit,
to make some merit
and then have
yep.
lunch. And I assume that he will be at the headquarters of Pheu Thai Party to watch the election result.
So his answer is pretty simple, and we can say that it's like a simple morning routine. So
For people that go to vote, yeah.
yeah, so a bit unexpected for Sethar compared to other prime ministerial candidates because he just talked about, okay, he woke up in the morning.
More details.
Yeah. Well, more like, okay, waking up in the morning, casting his ballot, and then he's going to have lunch with his
No, he's
friend.
going to go to the temple.
Going to the temple first to make merits and have lunch, and then after that, probably he might be at the party's headquarters.
We also have Sudarat Gayurapan, the prime ministerial candidate from Thai Sang Thai, that also gave a little bit of interview to the media after she cast her vote. So that's the atmosphere this morning. So you can hear her voice is a bit different. I think she have been campaigning and used a lot of her voice.
Yep.
So now it sounds kind of different from usual.
วันแห่งความหวังนะคะ เพราะว่า
So
ดู
she said today is a day of
ประชาชน
hope.
ตื่นตัวมาก
And
ก่อนมานี่
she says
ต้องขอโทษที่มาช้า
that
เพราะ
she
ว่า
saw
ไป
that a lot
ส่ง
of
ลูก
people that have been
ลง
quite
คะแนน
excited.
ก็ตั้งแต่ก่อน 8 โมง ก็ปรากฏว่าเข้าคิวยาวนะคะในเขตบางเขนก็เข้าคิวยาวเลย ก็แสดงว่าประชาชนนั้นตื่นตัวนะคะ ก็เป็นวันแห่งความหวังค่ะ ที่เราจะเปลี่ยนแปลงประเทศไทย ให้มันดีขึ้นนะคะ แล้วก็อยากจะเชิญชวนให้มาใช้สิทธิ์กันมากๆนะคะมาร่วมเปลี่ยนประเทศไทยไปด้วยกันนะคะ
And she said that today is like a day of hope, and the long queue at that polling station in Bang Khaen indicates that people are really excited about today's elections. And we still have other candidates.
I would say we have a celebrity.
Yep.
He's the one that show up in every election since he become the celebrity. I don't know for how many years now, but every election you will see him cast his vote, smile to the camera, and ask people to come out to vote. We are talking about Patong McIntyre.
ได้ยินเนาะ
เอาสะดวกพี่
And that is Patong McIntyre. He's a very famous singer in Thailand, and he is pretty influential as well.
Can you believe he's 65 years old?
สวัสดีครับ สวัสดีทุกคนนะครับ
พร้อมแล้วนะครับไป
5 4 3 2
ตั้งใจวันนี้พี่เบิร์ด
พี่เบิร์ดว่าอยากให้ทุกคนออกมานะครับ ถึงแม้ว่าจะยังไงก็ตามจะรักใครชอบใคร
Whether you
จะมี
like
ใจที่
anyone,
แตก
just
ต่าง
come
กัน
out to
มีความ
vote.
คิดที่
He
แตกต่าง
said.
กันก็ตามขอให้ออกมาใช้เสียงของตัวเองนะครับ
So exercise your
จะเป็นอะไร
right.
ก็ตามขอให้ออกมาเถอะครับออกมาใช้เสียงตัว
Whatever
เอง
you like, just
ชื่อของ
come
เรามี
out.
แล้วก็มาเทียบกับประชาชนเราจะรู้ว่าเราเป็นคนไทยเราก็ต้องใช้
So we
ใช้
are
สิทธิ์ของเรา
Thai. We should
นะครับ
เต็ม
exercise
ตัว
our
ยังไง
rights.
บ้างครับพี่เบิร์ดกับการมาเลือกตั้งวันนี้
พี่เบิร์ดต้องดูว่าเขาห้ามอะไรบ้างเขาห้ามส่งซิกแนลเขาห้ามส่งอะไรซึ่งจริงๆแล้วเราก็ไม่ได้ยินซิกแนลหรอก
So he
แต่
said
ว่า
he has been
การกระทำของเรา
looking at what not to do on election
ให้หนึ่ง
day.
ไปถึงนั้นฉะนั้นคือล้วงกระเป๋าไว้แล้วก็ใส่
So
เสื้อสี
he
ขาว
keep his hand in
ใส่
his
เสื้อ
pockets. He
เสื้อ
wear
สี
white
บางทีเราก็
color shirt just to make sure it look
กลัวนะครับ
neutral.
ว่าเราใส่สี
Yeah, it is a very
Put it in white.
sensitive issue here, whether it's the
เอาเบอร์ชนิดไม่อ่าน
because one of the rules when it comes to voting is that we're not allowed to wear T-shirts that clearly support which party. So let's say if you're wearing a T-shirt that has a logo of a certain political party, or if it has a face of a prime ministerial candidate, this is not allowed. Whether you're going to the polling stations, you're not allowed to do that at all.
And also today, of course, the also star of the event is the election commission.
Yep.
He went out to cast his vote, and of course the media there to see him cast his votes. He actually warned people to not violate the election law, and if anyone see any irregularity or didn't get accommodated or conveniency to vote, he suggests that people should just notify the election commission and remember to also say which constituency or which election unit that they went to, that they see irregularity or that they didn't, the service wasn't really convenient or whatnot. So I think the election this year, we can safely say that Thailand is a medium-sized country. If it's not small. But I mean, in ASEAN, we are prominent, but in the world stage, we might be on the small size. But the election this year has attracted quite attention from foreign media, though. We get a lot of headlines. Like last night before I went to bed, Bloomberg said that the turnout this year expected to be a record turnout, like the highest one in the history, for example. We also have other international media that has been reporting about Thai election, like CNN. Thai opposition take on Kingdom's conservatives clique as voting begins. You don't know that. That's what he said. But actually, you don't know that for sure. But it's just to show you that it shows interest in the Thai election. It has been one of the main headlines. That is Al Jazeera. It's Middle East media is talking about excitement, fear as polls open, and they are covering the election day live. They will be interesting to see what they say about election in Thailand.
Most of the media outlets in various countries, not just the big names such as CNN or BBC or Al Jazeera, many of the regional media are also doing live updates on the general elections. And I believe this is The Guardian, which says Thailand election day arrives with hope of unseating junta generals from power.
Oh, you have to say that is the hope from the opposition side, though.
And that picture you're seeing, that was from the last campaign rally from Pheu Thai Party, where you can see Patong and Sethar Thavisin, who are the prime ministerial candidates from Pheu Thai Party.
We can sadly say that a lot of media give attention to the challenger.
And this is CGTN from China. The headline says voters go to polls in Thailand's general elections. So this one is more neutral, unlike the other headlines that we've seen that clearly indicates that there is going to be some change going on, especially with the two opposing camps.
Right. So just to give you an overview, this is the Indian media. Thailand's voting begins. Will conservatives military-backed PM maintain power? That is the question that everybody is asking too. So like we said earlier to you, it's between two camps, the camps that wants the same group of administration, the same kind of management, or the camp that wants something entirely different.
Right. And this is Channel News Asia. They are doing live updates on the general elections today, and I believe its main correspondent Saksit Sayasombat, who will be covering the general elections today as for the live updates throughout the day, whether it's at the polling stations and when they start doing the vote counting. Saksit will be covering that as well from Channel News Asia. Do we have other media as well covering the general elections? So what we've just seen so far, these are the
Straits Times
main
in
highlights.
Singapore. Thailand election polls open after heated campaign. Election pins conservative military-backed faction against opposition parties pushing for change.
So we can see that the media has been really interested, the media around the world has been interested in the Thai elections. And what you're seeing right here is the Australian ambassador to Thailand. She tweeted that Thais are heading to the polls today. So many people are out casting their votes. Elections are important opportunity for people to have their say about the future of the country. And the Australian ambassador posts right now it's the
U.S. ambassador.
The American ambassador to Thailand who has tweeted.
And he tweeted in Thai.
That's pretty impressive.
The diplomats from U.S. usually they have to went through some kind of Thai language training before they start working here officially.
Right, and he said that voting is a fundamental right in all democracies, and I remember each and every time I participated in a U.S. election. And he also tweeted a similar tweet in Thai language. And this is the UK ambassador to Thailand, Mark Gooding. He said, wishing Thailand well as voters exercise their democratic rights on this important election day. And last but not least, we have do we have anyone else? Okay,
and that's a highlight of the, I would say, international eyes in Thailand to the Thai election today.
So we can see that the international media as well as the ambassadors in Thailand are highly interested, and they're all keeping an eye on the general elections because it indicates whether Thailand will actually change directions as well. So as we're talking about the general elections, now let's go through some interesting statistics about this general election, especially with the number of eligible voters for this time around. So this time, Thailand has 52.2 million eligible voters taking part in this general election on May 14th, with Bangkok having up to 4.4 million people. But if we put them into different generations, about 16 million of these voters are voters from Generation X, which are those aged between 43 to 58 years old. And this is the largest proportion of the total electorate, accounting for 30.8%. Apart from Generation X, there are also 15.1 million Generation Y or millennial voters, and those people are aged between 27 to 42 years old, and this accounts for 28.9% of the total electorate, while there are also 7.6 million voters from Generation Z, aged between 18 to 26 years old, accounting for 12.8%. Interestingly enough, as for the first-time voters for this general election, a total of 3.28 million people will be casting their ballots for the very first time, according to the Election Commission.
Voters will each get 2 ballot papers, one to mark their favorite constituency candidate and the other for their favorite political party. Only one ballot was used in the previous election of March 2019. The 2-ballot system was first used in Thailand in 2001 general election. The election law of 2018 adopted a single ballot system, but an amendment last year restored the 2 ballots. So you got the green one and the purple one. It's actually clearly said on the top of the paper which one is for what.
Exactly. And there are 2 groups of MPs. So the House of Representatives will still have 500 elected MPs, with 400 MPs from constituencies and 100 from the party-list system. Altogether, 70 parties are taking part in the race for 400 constituency MP seats, and 67 parties are competing for the 100 party-list seats in the 500-seat House of Representatives. And overall, a total of 6,679 politicians are standing for those 500 seats. At the same time, a total of 63 candidates for Prime Minister have been nominated by 43 political parties.
So 500 seats for over 6,600 politicians. There will be a lot of people that failed the exam today.
Right.
The Election Commission calculated that each member of parliament should represent an average of 162,766 residents. The figure was derived by dividing Thailand's population of over 65 million as of December 31st, 2022 by 400 single member parliament constituencies. In its March announcement on the drawing of constituency boundaries, the agency allowed a deviation of no more than 10% from the average number of residents for each constituency. An exception was made for cases where adjacent communities must be included in the same constituency to facilitate voting.
As there are 100 party-list MPs, the total number of valid party-list votes cast in the upcoming election will be divided by 100 to get the minimum number of votes each party needs to win a list MP seat. Based on the last general election, when 35 million valid ballots were cast, the contesting parties will need to get at least 350,000 votes to win a party-list MP seat. At the previous national vote, only about 70,000 votes were sufficient to win a party-list MP seat, since votes cast were divided by 500, which is the total number of MPs.
As for the election results, the unofficial result from some polling stations will be announced as early as 6:30 p.m., only 90 minutes after voting ends. The media and the public will be able to get updates on the vote count via the ECT report system. After polls close at 5 p.m., the committee based at every polling station across Thailand will start counting the ballots for both constituency and party list member parliaments, and will announce the results so they can be reviewed by members of the public, election observers, and party representatives to ensure accuracy. Then the committee will capture images of the poll results and send them online to the vote collection centers. The vote collection centers will add up the poll results from polling stations and record the results in the database of the ECT report system, which will then be sent to the Government Big Data Institute to be arranged into a dashboard for publication. The Election Commission had previously said that unofficial poll results were expected at 10 p.m. on Sunday at the earliest.
So these are the latest updates related to the general election today. But by the meantime, we also have our website, thaipbsworld.com, where we have everything you need to know about the general elections, whether it's the analysis, explainers, and all the other news that you need to know. And if you want to know more details about the general election, whether it's the process of selecting a prime minister, which parties have nominated whom, including other things, you can go onto our website, www.thaipbsworld.com, for all the latest updates related to the Thai elections, because today everything will be devoted for this big day. And apart from our website, we also have our Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter and Instagram as well. So do follow us for all the latest updates about the general election.
And we will come back to see you at 5 p.m. and also last round today, unveil the result together at 8 p.m.
This Sunday, Thailand will decide who will be running the country for the next 4 years. Join us for our special live coverage of the general elections, from vote counting, key candidate profiles, campaign promises, and in-depth analysis. Sunday, May 14th at 12 p.m., 5 p.m., and 9 p.m. only on Thai PBS World.